Good morning, Wake and Takers. How are we doing? It is Tuesday, December 9th, but more importantly, it is the fantasy football playoffs, everybody. It is time. Everything we have worked so hard for from the beginning of the end of last season, all the way through now, all of the research, all of the drafts, all of the trades, all of the free waivers, waiver wire pickups, just fab dumped panic, sweat had on a weekly basis. It is all coming together for this moment right here. It is the fantasy football playoffs for not, like I would say about 95% of the leagues out there. We got weeks 15, 16, 17, and that's it. We got 3 weeks left, and they're the most important 3 weeks out there. So let's get it, guys. James, good morning. Good morning. Good to see you in here. Good to see you in here as always. But I mean, like I said, guys, we're here. We've been in the trenches for 14 weeks now. 14 weeks of just nonstop grinding it out, trying to find who is good, who is bad, who do we start, where do we go? And I feel like we've done a pretty damn good job. Have there been some misses? Absolutely. Did I say that Keon Coleman was a great draft choice in round 10? I absolutely did. Was that right? Not at all. But we had our hits as well. Just sprinkled throughout, Gadsden. Gadsden coming on late was a huge one. And just on a week to week basis, just good calls all around. Nico Collins has been someone that I said don't get worried about Nico Collins. And then guess what? He's just been coming out and smashing. Even with Davis Mills out there, he was smashing. So he was someone I was a little bit concerned about having a lost season. And guess what? It's not lost at all. Nothing is truly lost. And we had a big week 14. There were some high scoring games. There were some low scoring games. There was everything in between. We had weather. We had injuries. We had some shocking upsets, and we had some not so shocking beat downs of some teams. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. As always, guys, just going to be hitting the news first here. Actually, before we do that, I forgot we had a Monday Night Football game. I don't know if you guys got Disney Plus, but we had the Mike and Sully Monsters Inc. Bowl last night, aka the LA Chargers going in up against the Philadelphia Eagles and taking care of business in overtime. It got a little dicey there. I thought we were going to see some old school Justin Herbert, some old school LA Chargers where they were up pretty much the first 3 quarters of the game, like the first 2.5 quarters. It was Chargers up by a bit, not running away with it, but the Philadelphia was hanging in there as they typically do with the defense. And LA needed a last-second field goal to tie and then force overtime. And then in overtime, we get the game-winning field goal and interception. So tough luck for Philly right now. 3-game losing streak. And it's just been the offensive woes continue. This was an ugly, ugly, ugly game for anyone not playing the running back position. I guess AJ Brown, another 100-yard game. That's 3 in a row. That's 3 in a row. So AJ Brown gets 100 yards 3 weeks in a row, but Philadelphia loses 3 weeks in a row. I know, like this feels like the whole good running, or like the running backs score more and when the team wins because of the fact that they get more volume. Like this feels like the inverse of that, where yes, AJ Brown is over 100 yards, but it's not actually the cause of the loss. It's just he has over 100 yards because they have to throw the ball more. So it feels like one of those for sure. I'm not going to sit here and say that AJ Brown getting his 13 targets is the reason, but Jalen Hurts looked real bad. Jalen Hurts was real ugly out there. He threw 4 interceptions, including the game sealer in overtime at the 20-something yard line, the 12, like it was from the 20 to get into like touchdown scoring, game winning range. And the 4th interception, no rushing for Jalen Hurts today. And that's kind of been the key, has been if Hurts doesn't run, this offense doesn't move. And I mean, the only good news is there were rushing yards. Saquon Barkley finally breaks the slump that he's had going on for a little bit here. Again, 4 weeks in a row, really under 12 fantasy points before this. And he comes out 20 carries, 122 and a tutty. Saquon is just kind of riding the ebbs and the flows of this offense. Last year, he could not be stopped. This year, this whole offense is getting stopped every single day. Jonathan Santiago, good morning. Good morning. Welcome in. Thank you for stopping in. But yeah, outside of that, I mean, 8 targets for Devonta Smith, no yardage there. Dallas Goedert had 10 targets, which is insanity, 78 yards. So a good game for a tight end, but just nothing, no touchdowns, no nothing here. The kickers really put their team on the back. I mean, 5 field goals for Dicker, 4 field goals for Elliott. So it was a straight up kicker defense fest, because even on the flip side, Justin Herbert, he came in with the surgically repaired left hand, only threw 26 pass attempts and did not break 150 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, and a fumble loss, but he carried the ball 10 times for 66 yards. So if Herbert can get that hand feeling good, and honestly, this matchup, we knew, like, Philly has been shutting people down left and right. Like, yes, Dak Prescott had the one good week, but that was kind of some wildness. But week 15, the Chargers get Kansas City, who we just saw get beat by Houston, but it was not really an offensive victory for the Houston Texans. It was more of a defensive victory. So NKC is a little bit worrying, but then they get Dallas and then we get Houston. So really there's 1 week of very exciting, usable Chargers playoff schedule, and that's going to be week 16 against Dallas in your semifinals. Weeks 15 at KC and then week 17 at home against Houston are very, very dicey for very important games. So be cautious with your Chargers. But we did see Omarion Hampton come back, and they were not kidding. They were not kidding about a committee approach here with Vidal and Hampton. Hampton had 15 opportunities compared to Vidal's 14. Vidal did have his 1 catch go for 60 yards, so that helps his yardage there. Outside of that, 14 for 44 for Vidal, so not too much. But I mean, not much better for Hampton, 13 for 56, and then 2 catches for 11 yards and a touchdown for him. That's just kind of how it is against Philadelphia. Yes, no Jalen Carter, so there was some success with over 100 rushing, or at exactly 100 rushing yards, but just not anything too crazy here. Let's see. Do I got the snap split? Oh, it ain't showing right now. Where are we at though? Yeah, we had no snap split yet for the Monday night game, so that's unfortunate. Is that week 14? Okay, week 14, we do have it here. 31% snaps for Hampton and 69% for Vidal. But obviously, like the game plan was for the carries to be split pretty evenly here. So I think next week we see Hampton a little bit healthier. And we saw Woody Marks have success. So I think Hampton is a good start. And I think Vidal can still be a desperation deep play here. Obviously, bye weeks are done. We get our Travion Henderson's back. Not Tyrone Tracy, but Devin Singletary. Guys like that are coming back off the bye week. So maybe you don't need to start Vidal. It is a little bit of a dicey matchup. It is a little bit of a dicey situation with the 50-50 split. But at the end of the day, you got to think another week for Herbert to get healthy, another week for Hampton to get healthy. Hopefully this offense can get back on track, because in the passing game, I mean, like I said, 139 receiving, 139 yards out there, and it was so spread out. I mean, Keenan led the team with 3 receptions. McConkey 1 for 5, QJ 2 for 3, Gadsden 1 for 4 for 7 yards. Like it was ugly. And we're definitely hoping for more, because you're going to have to start guys like McConkey. You got to start a McConkey, honestly, like no matter what the matchup is. I know that he dudded here, but you got to start McConkey. I don't know how you bench him after the stretch that he's had before this. And like I said, you just got to kind of hope that the left hand isn't bothering Herbert too much, and we're able to recoup here. On the Philly side, they get a nice stretch of matchups here. They get Vegas next week, and they get Washington the week after that, and then finish up in Buffalo, which could be a team that can force a little bit of a shootout here. Buffalo's going to put up the points regardless. It just depends on how their defense holds up. But a good stretch here for the Philadelphia Eagles. So you're firing up. I mean, you were never really benching your studs here, but you're definitely concerned about them after seeing this absolute dud here. But you're going to come back to them next week. I'm going to go ahead and flip over here. I got some questions here in the chat. I got Jonathan saying, you want to grab Brissett to back up Mahomes. You have the bye week, but who should you drop? Sharps, Jaden Higgins, leaning Shards, so I don't you don't help the London Lamb owner who made it to the playoffs. You could drop one of the Giants running backs. I think that let me get I don't think we have an update on Tyrone Tracy yet, but honestly, I think that Tyrone Tracy is going to miss a bit of time here with the injury that he suffered. Oh, he's okay. I guess it was just a hip contusion. I would drop one of the Giants running backs, to be honest with you. I think at best they're going to be in a 50-50 split still. They do get a good matchup, so that's tough. But I think that honestly, I think that with this injury here, I think that we see more Singletary than we do Tracy for at least the first round of the playoffs here. So if I had to, I would probably do that. I think that Charbonnet is on the same level, just on a better offense of both of the Giants running backs. Jaden Higgins, it depends. I like Higgins. I think Higgins is a good player. I'm still not sold on this run here, guys. Like, I know that it doesn't make sense, but really, like, it's been mid. It's been very mid, but he does get a nice schedule. So I guess, yeah, hold on to Higgins. Drop one of the whichever running back you're least confident in. I'm least confident in Tyrone Tracy coming off the injury. Yes, they had the bye week, but the hip injury is still there, and it's his like second or third injury of the year. So that's where I would go if you want to scoop a back up there for Mahomes. But honestly, unless Mahomes goes down, I don't think you're starting Brissett over Mahomes. Even with the dud that Mahomes put up this week. So that's where I'm kind of leaning. Happy, good morning, good morning. Hurts dropped me from third to barely making 6 by point. Hey, 6 is 6th. If it gets you in, it gets you in. That's all we care about. Envy Prof, good morning, good morning. Good to see everyone in here. Cheers, y'all. We are making it to the news right now. Flipping over to the injury news, we have the big story, which is, of course, Daniel Jones. Torn Achilles, confirmed, getting the season-ending surgery. We had Riley Leonard step in, and he wasn't terrible. He wasn't good. I'm not going to sit here and say he was good. But I've seen worse play out there. Looking at, who is it? What is his name? Brady Cook. Looking at you, Brady Cook. I have seen worse, but coming out of the game, Riley Leonard also dealing with a knee injury and questionable to even play for week 15. So now we're hearing rumors of 44-year-old Philip Rivers, who has almost as many kids as he is years old at this point, might be making a comeback here. What? I feel like there's got to be, like, I don't have like a list of like available quarterbacks right now, but there's got to be someone out there that's better than 44-year-old Philip Rivers, who hasn't played in 5 years. When's the last time that Philip Rivers played? I don't even know. Like, this is an insane development here. We know that Anthony Richardson with the eye injury not playing, Daniel Jones done. So it's quite literally like they have to just pick someone up off the street and plug them in. And with that, there goes all my Alec Pierce hype that I had last week. All my Alec Pierce hype for the season just gone, just like that. The real only person that I would say would benefits is going to be it's a trade-off here, because Jonathan Taylor is going to get a million touches in this offense. He's going to touch the ball every other play, if not 90% of the time. It should be in Jonathan Taylor's hands if this team is still trying to make a push for the playoffs. They're on a skid. They're dealing with terrible injury news up and down the quarterback room, but at the same time, they're still in it. So I do think that Jonathan Taylor will get a million touches. Obviously, offensive efficiency and staying on the field and keeping drives alive, if it's a 3rd and long, it's going to be tough. Especially to trust these pass catchers in Indianapolis moving forward. Even if Philip Rivers does come back, it's been so long. I don't know about you guys. I'm not trusting a Michael Pittman, an Alec Pierce, a Josh Downs. I'm not trusting any of those guys throwing the ball to with 44-year-old Phillip Rivers back there or Riley Leonard. Like in the first round of playoffs, no. If I got the bye week this week and I can take a look, I'm not panic dropping these guys, but definitely feel like the hype and the excitement for this passing game is down. Happy Warren might take some snaps, yeah, but that's gimmicky. That's some gimmicky stuff right there. I don't think that they have like a whole passing game planned around that. So good luck if you got some indie pass catchers. I hope you have some other options that you can go ahead and scoop up and plug in and play, because I am not trusting Pittman. I'm not trusting Pierce. I'm not even like, the only reason I might trust Warren is for the fact that he might be getting some snaps and might be getting some extra rushing yardage because of it. But I'm very nervous. I'm very, very nervous for anyone that isn't Jonathan Taylor in this offense right now. And again, like I said, Jonathan Taylor goes from volume and efficiency to just straight volume with this. The touchdowns will come down. Everything will come down here. Some more injuries, some more season enders, or I guess another season ender was Zach Ertz. Knee got obliterated. He is done for the season, if not his career. And that is tough to see a guy like Ertz, who has stuck around for so long and who has been like, he's been consistent. He was not the dominant force that he was back in Philadelphia all the way through, but he's always been a locker room guy. He's always been someone that just, you never heard anything bad about Ertz other than he is dusty and slow right now, which at his age, of course, you're going to be a dusty, slow tight end after you've been bashing your head, your knees, your body up against other dudes for how long now? But out of this comes a young tight end that a lot of people have been excited about in the dynasty world for a couple years, Ben Sinnott. It might be time. Again, this is another situation where in the wild card of my fantasy football playoffs, am I picking up Sinnott and plugging him in? Absolutely not. Not going to do that. Not crazy. I'm not crazy. Unless I absolutely, like, if it's super deep and there's nothing out there and I have to, sure. There's worse. There's worse out there. Do I want to do that? Not a chance. And you're like very like standard 12 team leagues where you're just running like the average league. Ben Sinnott should not be in your fantasy football playoff lineup. There's questions of Bates getting more work than Sinnott, and we've seen Sinnott just be kind of pushed down the depth chart consistently. I mean, it's tough for tight ends. They got to come in, they got to learn, especially when you got a guy like Ertz who was doing it all. He knew the offense. He was able to do blocking assignments, passing work. So we could see Ben Sinnott get work here. If you need a tight end and you have a stash spot right now, go stash him to see what it looks like out there. But there are better options out there for week 15, if not the entire rest of the playoffs. But in your dynasty leagues, if you've held on to Sinnott, you're feeling like you're getting an opportunity here. You're feeling like you're getting a look into what could be in the future here. Some more injuries we had was Tyrod Taylor left the Jets-Miami game with a groin injury. Justin Fields was also out with a knee. So that means we saw Brady Cook, who I alluded to earlier, terrible. There was no offense from the Jets here. The only touchdown was from was it punt return or kick return? I think it was a punt return. So once again, just no offense from the Jets. Here we go. And if it is Brady Cook for week 15, because right now the status is up in the air for Tyrod, status is up in the air for Justin Fields, status is up in the air for Brady Cook out of being ass. So we just don't know who is going to be the quarterback. Aaron Glenn did say that on Wednesday there will be some clarity when they release their first practice report. So just keep an eye on it. I have nothing solid right now, but if we do get Brady Cook out there once again, even Breece Hall becomes dicey, because once again, it's one of these situations where if they can't move the ball at all, it doesn't matter how many touches Breece gets. If there's no getting the ball down the field and even a chance for a breakaway touchdown or a chance for anything, if the teams can just load the box, Breece isn't going to do it. So Breece is becoming very, very risky here at the worst time possible. Another big time running back dealing with an injury is going to be Devon Achane. He left the game, same exact game, left the game, and Jalen Wright came in and just dominated. He came in and got 24 carries, 107 yards, and a touchdown. 107 yards and a touchdown here. He very much outplayed Ollie Gordon. Ollie Gordon still got the touchdown, which, expect that on the goal line. But right now, what I'm hearing with Achan is, or what I'm reading, I don't know what I'm saying. I'm not an insider. What I'm reading with Achan is that he said he told McDaniel he was fine to go back into the game. Obviously, game was handedly won, so no need to put Achan back out there. But what I've been reading is that McDaniel is saying that rest is not off the table for Achan here. Obviously, the playoffs hopes and dreams of Miami, they're not dead yet, but it's not really like they're not really built to make a run here. So it's one of those things where they might just rest their star running back, because why force them out there for games that just don't matter too much. So keep an eye on the practice reports as we go, and waivers running tonight. Stash Jalen Wright, because they get Pittsburgh up next, and if he can get another 24 carries against Pittsburgh, he can put up another 100 yards and hopefully a touchdown or two. So Jalen Wright could be a very sneaky Devon Acham pivot here. But again, keep an eye on it. Go stash Jalen Wright. This is the time where you take those shots. You take those shots for sure when you got him, because especially at the running back position. I mean, we've seen Kamani Vidal, Omarion Hampton, 50-50 split. We've seen these guys that were so consistent in helping us. Tyrone Tracy was consistently up there, came back down to 50-50. Like, there's just so many situations where it's not a clear-cut guy, where we could have one here in Miami if HM misses time. I see we got some Wake and Take Best Ball League updates here. Yes, I snuck into the playoffs. I'm in number one and number two, and made the playoffs in number one. I snuck in on number two. Let's go. We got a good group of guys in there. So guys and girls, I believe. Can't even check it on my computer. I gotta pull up my phone to check that. That's obnoxious. I'll get to that. But MB Prof, you played me in the first round. I'm sorry, but you're going down. I'm sorry. You can't stop me right now. I made it to the playoffs. That's all it takes. I make it, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna run the table. So unfortunately, I hate to put you out week one, but that's how it is. A couple more injuries we got here. David Njoku, he caught a diving touchdown, looked beautiful, amazing. And then he was down. It looked like he was really injured right there, but he did come back into the game. But this is a situation that we had where Njoku's kind of been in and out all season. He's been in, he's been out, he's been in. He's been on the injury report a lot, and sometimes he plays, and then there's sometimes that he doesn't. So really keep an eye out here as well. Honestly, I think you start Harold Fannin regardless, because of even with Njoku in there, Fannin has just been getting the bulk of the snaps. He's been getting the bulk of the targets. 3 weeks in a row of 90+% of the snaps for Fannin here, and it's just it hasn't been the most consistent, but we saw him break 100 yards with the tutty this week. We saw him get a tutty last week. So you stick with the consistency at the snaps at what matters. And I mean, Shedeur seems kind of locked in right now, especially with Fannin. So we'll talk about this game a little bit later as well. And then final injury that I got on here is going to be T. Higgins did re-enter the concussion protocol, which is not a great sign for his availability this week. And there's another concussion. Let me get to that in a second. But T. Higgins, again, enters back into the concussion protocol. And it's back-to-back here, because he missed last week with being in the concussion protocol. He comes back this week, and he finished the game, but immediately, right after, placed back into concussion protocol. So I got a feeling that T is going to be missing week 15 here. I could be surprised, and he could make it through the protocol quicker than last time, but I just don't got confidence in that, and I don't like trying to get guys back in there so quickly after a concussion. The other concussion we have to talk about is CeeDee Lamb. That is someone that I forgot about here, who left the Thursday night game with the concussion about 2-3 quarters in. Let's see, we got any updates here. He's quote unquote doing a good job progressing through the concussion protocol. He's meeting all the thresholds. This is all from Jerry Jones, so I don't really take all of that with an absolute grain of salt, in my opinion. But Jerry Jones is saying he's meeting all the thresholds that you need to meet that will get him to where he has to play this week. Obviously, just keep an eye on the practice reports, because it can happen real quick where it turns one way or the other, where all of a sudden he's trending towards not playing or he's trending towards making it for Sunday. So keep an eye. Obviously, uh, a big factor of a lot of people's playoff teams right now is CD Lamb and George Pickens. So just keep an eye there on CD. And Prof, let me see, is Ollie hurt too? Did he get hurt? I honestly, I did not pay attention to the Miami game this week. No, I'm not saying anything about Gordon being injured here. I think it was just it was hot hand. It was Jalen Wright came in and was just. It also was probably had to do with the fact that it was a blowout. Like they can go to Jalen Wright a little bit more, but it was 52% snaps for Wright and then 25 for Ollie Gordon. So I think Wright will be, at least like I said, it's going to be hot hand at worst. And I think Wright gets the first crack next week for Miami against Pittsburgh. But yeah, that is all the injury news that I have right now. Obviously Thursday we get a little bit more clarity because we get some more practice reports in there. And at this stage of the season, there's so many rest days for these guys because we're 15 weeks in. So keep an eye out on the reports as we go throughout the week. But we're at that point of the show where I'm going to be flipping over to the game recap. But before we go there, I'm going to talk a little bit more about Fast Draft. We still have the weekly free roll for beginner players into the Quick Six Super Slam. Like I said, free roll. You don't even have to. You put $0 in and you get a free roll to win some promo cash for the site here. Go do that if you want to do your draft style. Go do the Quick Six Super Slam. And there is also the Rabbit Playoffs that have just dropped for weeks 15 through 17. Go get some of those drafts going as well if you want some more best ball exposure at the end of the year here. Go ahead, go in there. If you haven't made a deposit yet, use code JOwensFF to get a $50 deposit match. That will be 5 extra Quick Six Super Slams or 10 extra Flex 6 Frenzies. Or how much is the I haven't even checked. I have not had time to even check what the rabbit is, but that is a couple extra rabbits as well. So go ahead and if you have not, it's $10. So an extra 5 rabbit playoffs to sneak in there. So go ahead and do that. But as I said, you get the free roll into the Quick Six Super Slam. You pick your 6 guys, you plug them into the boosters, you watch the points rack up, and you have a great time. Go chalk, go contrarian, do whatever you want, whatever makes you happy, whatever makes it fun for you. Go do that. Put the money into Fast Draft. Use code JOwensFF to get that match. Now go ahead and pass it over to the Podfather to talk a little bit more about that.
Pour one out for an incredible best ball season. It was a breakout 2025 for Fast Draft, but now the NFL action has started. That means it's DFS season. That's right. You might think, oh, wow, DFS, I can't win DFS. Oh, but you can on Fast Draft. You just pick any 6 guys and you put them in a handful of booster spots. There's no salary rubric you have to follow. You're not going up against thousands of killer bots in these tournaments. Oh, no. These are regular people grabbing their 6 favorite plays of the week, and that's all you have to do. And we post the ownership so that you can choose how much chalk you want. There is no drafting. It's called the Quick Six Super Slam. The Quick Six Super Slam is the signature DFS contest at Fast Draft. It is changing DFS. We are making DFS great again. So go to fastdraft.app and use your host promo code for a $50 deposit match. And let's go start drafting faster.
And he did say at the beginning that best ball season's over, but again, it's not. He brought it back. He brought it back for the playoffs, weeks 15 through 17. We got the Rabbit open back up. 15 rounds, full PPR. It's quick. It's fun. I truly like. I shifted a little bit more of my normal best ball drafts over to Fast Draft, and I do not regret it at all. I got a good little split now between Underdog and Fast Draft, and exclusively DFS on Fast Draft. So again, first deposit, code JOwensFF gets you that $50 deposit match for 5 to 10 extra drafts, whether it's DFS, whether it's the playoff best ball, whatever floats your boat. Go ahead, get in there, and let's get drafting. Going to go ahead and flip it on over to the week in review, as we always do, and going to go ahead and just talk game by game, talk about the guys, talk about some things that are important, because right now, it doesn't matter weeks 1 through 14. None of that matters outside of what will help me for week 15. So there's a whole lot of stats, there's a whole lot of data, there's a whole lot of extrapolation sample sizes we can take. We can go ahead and look at things here and there, but really none of that matters except for what it means for week 15 right now. Unless, of course, you got a first round bye, which congratulations if you did. Then it matters what is going to matter for week 16. So let's go ahead and dive right in and talk about it. There's lots going on around the NFL in terms of their playoff hunt and in terms of what that means for our playoffs together here in fantasy football. So going to go back all the way to last Thursday. We had the Dallas Cowboys and the Detroit Lions in what was expected to be a absolute shootout. And we got it a little bit slow at first, but we got it. We got there. Jahmyr Gibbs, absolute monster. If you got him running through these playoffs, I guarantee you, because he is definitely going to be a driving force of this team here. Oh, I did miss Franz. Franz, good morning. Good morning. Welcome in. Good to see you. Good to see you. Welcome back. But yeah, so for the Detroit Lions, we all know Gibbs, phenomenal. We did see Amon-Ra St. Brown push. I did fully expect him to completely miss this game, at least because of the fact that the injury happened. It was only 1 week, and we were told that Amon-Ra St. Brown is week to week. That apparently just meant 0 weeks missed, because he came back, he pushed it, he got himself out there, and it's not like he was just a decoy. Sometimes you see these guys come back less than a week, and he's a decoy. He had 9 targets and caught 6 of them for 92 yards, including a deep post that he honestly, maybe healthy, takes to the house. And then Jameson Williams still doing his thing as the primary right now. Yes, I understand that he had the same amount of targets as Amon-Ra St. Brown, but the injured Amon-Ra made Jameson the primary. He had 9 targets as well, 7 catches for 96 yards. So both these guys are going to be delivering here down the stretch for you. You can't turn away from them. If Amon-Ra plays, you start him, and we got a big game here against the Rams in week 15. So I got a feeling we have another shootout on our hands, and Williams and St. Brown are going to be a huge part of it. Isaac Tesla was someone that I was saying, if Amon-Ra sits, you start him. And if you didn't fix that with Amon-Ra getting the late active, you got bailed out with the touchdown here from him, but not much else outside of that. And then Monty had his 30-yard touchdown as well, but still only 7 opportunities to Gibbs's 19. So Montgomery's still more of an afterthought here. And going up against the Rams, I got no faith in David Montgomery in week 15 here. So plan to pivot away from him here. And you stick with your studs. You stick with your Gibbs, your Jameson, and your Amon-Ra. I would avoid Goff as well. As much as I love Jameson and Amon-Ra, I fear this Rams defense is too much, and it's not like Goff has anything on the ground. On the flip side, Dallas, we talked about CeeDee Lamb's concussion, and to keep an eye out for that. In his absence, we expected Pickens to step up, but Pickens was getting the bracket coverage and just really, he stopped trying a lot, it looked like. I know that there was the big whole thing with Richard Sherman and all of that, but I mean, you look at the plays, you look at the tape, and it does look like Pickens was kind of just phoning it in for the most part. But in his absence, Ryan Flanoy, who I trashed and said, even if Pickens or Lamb misses, don't go for Flanoy. I'm going to go ahead and say I was wrong there. Flanoy, 13 targets, 9 catches, 115 and a tutty. The one tutty was obviously a deep broken play that worked to his advantage, but still, if you need wide receiver help with CD being in concussion protocol, Flanoy is another guy to go ahead and scoop and wait and see. Very much in the Jalen Wright camp, where we don't know what's going to happen with Lamb. We don't know what's going to happen with Achane, but scoop and hold, because even if it's just to block the other person that you're going up against from getting a guy like that who can have a 20-plus point game, you got to do it. Outside of that, not much to talk about in Dallas. Javonte did perfectly fine against a good run defense here, 67 and a tutty. Dak is Dak, over 375 and a tutty for him, and a 2-point conversion, 2 interceptions. So it did kind of bring down the what could have been, but still a good outing here. And I think you fire all these guys up no matter what. You fire up your main guys, your Lamb, your Pickens. If Lamb misses, you fire up Flanoy and Pickens. You fire up Ferguson, and you fire up Dak and Javonte against the Minnesota Vikings in Week 15. Don't care. Don't just you do it. You do it. The defense is still not doing enough. The offense is still doing plenty. So you go ahead and just start all those guys there. We're going to go ahead and move over to another NFC game. We had Seattle smack up on Atlanta to nobody's surprise. Good news is Sam Darnold got back on track after just a couple like tough games here. He's had a tough stretch with interceptions. He's had a tough stretch with just passing the ball in general, like with efficiency. So it was good to see Darnold back on track, about 250 and 3 with 1 interception for him. And of course, if you know he has those stats, Jackson Smith and Jigba, 92 yards, 2 tutties on 10 targets, just easy peasy. We finally saw some life out of Rashid Shaheed as well, 5 targets, 67 yards, and a return touchdown. So bonus points if you got Rashid Shaheed there, but I don't know anyone that's starting him with confidence. Really on this team, we saw once again the running backs were like nothing has changed. Everything's been consistent. 52% Kenneth Walker, 43% Zach Charbonnet in terms of snaps, and then here we are, 10 opportunities for Charbonnet, 13 opportunities for Walker, and there just wasn't anything there to differentiate. I still stick with Zach Charbonnet out of the two of them just because of the touchdown upside that I believe is still there. But really, I'm not happy if I have to start either one of these guys. Again, if I need to, banking on a Charbonnet tutty, especially going up against Indy, but then they get the Rams again, and then Carolina to finish it out. So it's not even like it's a juicy lineup. So I'm feeling very nervous if I got any of those guys. On the flip side, we have the Atlanta offense, which struggled once again. Obviously, good defense, and Kirk Cousins he ain't what he used to be. And to be fair, he doesn't really have the options out there to help him. Kyle Pitts was my sit of the week. Held his own pretty good. He heard me trash talking. He went 6 for 90 on 10 targets. He was pretty much the only one that was catching anything out there. Darnell Mooney 1 for 4. Dylan Drummond, Devin Tompkins, David Sills. Just like, again, this is just a cavalcade of just who's. So you have your Bijan, and he had a tough week, but that's more, in my opinion, the defense. This is a very good defense who have stopped a lot of good players. I do think that we get some better sledding here. Week 15 against Tampa, and then on Thursday, and then week 16 against Arizona is huge for Bijan. Week 17 against the LA Rams is tough in the finals, but you're sticking with your Bijan. But really, that's it. Not looking for anything from Algier, not looking for anything from Mooney. And you can go ahead and stick with Kyle Pitts if you need, because, I mean, the targets say to stick with him, and he's not killing you right now. He's got 2 games in a row of over 10 fantasy points with no London. If London comes back, maybe go ahead and find a pivot, but that's a big maybe. And again, I don't think London's coming back off of a PCL on a lost season. So don't know if I expect that, but not too much on the Atlanta side that I really want outside of Bijan for my playoffs here. We had the AFC North battle for the lead in the division with the Pittsburgh Steelers eking out the Baltimore Ravens 27-22. And we saw Aaron Rodgers come back a little bit. I was worried about Rodgers. He was looking real bad. He's been dealing with the injuries to his nose, to his wrist, to everything. He'd been looking rough, but he came back 284 and a touchdown, and also a rushing touchdown. Okay, I see you, A-Rod. And then Metcalf really the big story here, because he's really the only pass catcher that you could start here in Pittsburgh, and he's been as inconsistent as Aaron Rodgers has been. They just have not been pushing the ball downfield consistently. So I still don't trust Metcalf, but if you have to, if you have a 50-50, like 2 guys that are close in your mind, and one of them is DK Metcalf, a game like this helps because 12 targets, 7 catches, 148 yards, and we saw some of those be downfield. There was a stat out there where Pittsburgh hadn't completed a 20+ yard air yard pass in weeks, weeks and weeks and weeks. And finally, we saw Rodgers pushing the ball downfield again. So if we see that again, Metcalf is kind of going to be a coin flip to me. What is he going to be? I don't know. They get Miami at home this week, so the opportunity will be there. But I have a hard time trusting it. But I do like that we saw this big target, big yardage game out of DK. It kind of gives me a little bit of confidence. He'll be rising my rankings just a smidge here, but we've seen a lot of these wide receivers this year have the games and then just disappear. And I mean, DK's done that to us multiple times. So beware but feel a little bit better if you got to start DK this week. In terms of the running backs, it's still been a pretty damn near 50-50 split here as well. Actually, I say damn near, but it was on the money 50-50 between Warren and Gainwell, not only in terms of snaps, but pretty much in terms of opportunities as well. Yeah, no, straight 50-50 between the two of them. Jaylen Warren, 11, Kenneth Gainwell, 11. Gainwell's been used a lot more in the passing game, but even on the goal line, we saw Gainwell get the rushing touchdown, and we saw Jaylen Warren get the receiving touchdown. So they are 50-50 all the way through, and that makes both these guys very tough to trust. I mean, it makes them both RB3 deep flex opportunities because they totally can. And they get Miami in week 15, which isn't a bad matchup. Miami's been better against running backs as of late, but we know that they were also just an absolute sieve out there, just getting gashed left and right. But then week 16, Detroit, week 17, Cleveland. So if you're not going to use your Pittsburgh running backs this week, you might be able to go ahead and just give them a drop Scaruni and try to bait someone into picking them up and playing them into bad matchups on the road. We will see here. MV Prof, thank you. Yes, DK was in the hospital overnight for stomach pains. I haven't seen anything come out of that. Let's see. He's rejoined the Steelers on Monday. And the Steelers play on Monday as well. So we'll see. We'll keep an eye on it, but nothing to really report as of quite yet. And yeah, that's exactly what I thought when he's known for eating a ton of candy. And I mean, how old is he now? Like he's 27 now. That's about the time when you can't just be shoveling the candy in your face anymore. I learned that one the hard way myself. On the Baltimore side, we finally saw Lamar Jackson bounce back into form. I gotta do a quick panic check here. Okay. I remember there was the whole debate on Trevor Lawrence versus Lamar Jackson. And I honestly, I was leaning Trevor, but I also said that this could exactly what happened could happen where Lamar bounces back. It wasn't the big blow up Lamar game that we've seen before, but over 200 passing yards with a tutty and then 43 rushing yards on 7 carries and a rushing touchdown. That's what we need to see. That gives me confidence in Lamar, especially as they're fighting for their lives in the AFC North right now. This loss was huge for them because they need to pretty much win out here. They get Cincinnati this week. Great for fantasy football, but then they get New England and Green Bay to close out the playoffs. It's going to be a tough stretch here, but this offense can do it. Derrick Henry, no touchdowns, which really makes you feel bad about it, but 25 carries. We saw Keaton Mitchell get some work and look good, but then he left with a knee injury. So I think it's going to be King Henry as always. Zay Flowers, big game. I was very down on Zay Flowers once again, but 11 targets, 124 yards, still no touchdowns, but he's still sliding into that. Like he can stay consistently in wide receiver 2 for me now, because with Lamar struggling, I was having a hard time trust him. With Lamar looking back, Zay Flowers comes back into my locked in wide receiver 2 territory, in my opinion. And then for the tight ends, we saw it get spread out pretty evenly, as it has been between Likely and Andrews. Likely got the touchdown this week. Andrews got nothing. I'm hard pressed to start either one of these guys moving forward because they're dead split. Andrews got the extension, most likely on his way out, but it doesn't matter because right now they're just playing to win, and Lamar doesn't care what the contract says right now. He cares what the field says. And yeah, once again, 66% snaps for Andrews, 58% for Likely. So they're both on the field a lot. But really, Flowers, Henry, Lamar, those are your locked in 3. Outside of that, if you need one of these tight ends, you're just praying for a touchdown out of either Likely or Andrews here. KJ, good morning. Apologies. Missed this, but good morning. Welcome back. Which QB would you prefer to start this week? We got Bo Nix, CJ Stroud, or Jaden Daniels if he plays, or A-Rod. Oh, wow. Do you have to start 2? You have Bo and Daniels rostered. Okay. Let me take a look here. Let's take a look. You have Bo and Stroud, you said? You have Bo and Daniels rostered. I'd be tough pressed to start Daniels. He's got the good matchup this week, but I am okay. Start 1. Okay. I'd be tough to start Daniels right now, really. Let's see who Denver plays Green Bay, but they're at home. Knicks has been looking a little bit more consistent, but he hasn't been explosive. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. That is tough. That is a very good question here. Houston does get Arizona, but that could be a run game. Oh man. Oh man, oh man, oh man. I think I stick with Bo Nix. Bo Nix hasn't been killing you. Yes, he's been inconsistent in the air, but I think you stick with Bo Nix even in the tough matchup. I think you just gotta. He's been throwing the ball so much. He's been over 35 pass attempts the past 3 games. It's just the touchdowns haven't been there like they were early on in the season. So I think that it's all going to come together here. And I'm going to go ahead and stick with Bo Nix in that situation. Thank you for the question. Appreciate you as always. Canroff, Jalen Hurts shit in the bed got me to win by 2 points for a first round bye in the playoffs. Congratulations. Love to hear that. Love to hear that. You got here. Would I start Burrow over Allen this week because of the matchup? No. I love Burrow, but the things that Josh Allen can do with his legs tell me absolutely not. 100% sticking with Josh Allen there. I think that Joe Burrow is going to be perfectly fine. I'm sticking with Josh Allen. I would never be able to forgive myself starting someone over Josh Allen in the fantasy football playoffs. Matchups be damned. I can't do it. Can't do it. So going to go ahead and stick with Josh Allen there. Let's go ahead and bounce back over. We're at 45. We're at 45. So let's keep it rolling. Keep it rolling. We're going to go ahead and talk about both those quarterbacks right now. We're going to talk about their game. We had a absolute barn burner in the snow. It was fun. It was a fun watch. It was a lot of slipping and sliding, but still a ton of passing for a snow game, which was lovely to see. We had Josh Allen, though, eke out the win over Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. On the Buffalo side, we had Allen 250 and 3 in the air with a 2-point conversion, and then another 9 for 78 and a tutty on the ground. Again, that's why I'm not benching Josh Allen, because he can do that. It doesn't matter the matchup. It doesn't matter the team. It does not matter. And if it's not, I mean, we saw him put up six touchdowns total not too long ago. So I'm sorry, 5 touchdowns. I thought it was 6. Oh no, it was 6. Those were interceptions. Yeah, against Tampa Bay. So I'm sticking with Josh Allen 100% of the way through. And I'm sticking with James Cook. A little bit of a quieter game. He had the fumble lost, but 111 yards. You're not turning away from him. The touchdowns have definitely cooled as of late. He's only got 2 touchdowns in the past 6 games. 2 touchdowns in the past 6 games, one rushing, 1 receiving. So it has definitely cooled down for James Cook here, but you got to stick with him. He still has weekly 3 touchdown upside, so you stick with him there. And on the flip side, I'm not like Khalil Shakir looks better on the stat sheet because of 8.6 points, but that's 16 yards and a touchdown. I'm hands off of everyone in this passing game outside of Dalton Kincaid, who did come back. I know Dawson Knox had the big game, but Kincaid being back, I think he starts to ramp up. Did he get re-injured? No, I don't see anything about re-injury for Kincaid. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to Kincaid if I have to. If I don't have one of these top elite tight ends, which if you have Kincaid, you probably don't unless you made a trade when Kincaid got injured. But we did see only a 37% snap share for Kincaid, but we don't need to see much more of that. I know, like I said, I know Knox had the big game, but Knox's snap share comes down. I'm not trusting that moving forward. I think that next week we see Kincaid get a little bit more. And I mean, it's a big game. It's a big game for the division. So I think that when they need to pass the ball and Kincaid touches the field, it goes to him. So I'm sticking with Kincaid. That's really the only pass catcher that I'm looking for in Buffalo. It's Josh Allen, it's James Cook. And then if you don't have a better option, Dalton Kincaid is going to be in my top 12 100% this week. Book it. On the Cincinnati side, Joe Burrow, baby. Joe Burrow. Joe Cool. Joe Burr. Comes out 4 tutties in the snow, 284. We are a little bit concerned here with no T. Higgins looking like next week, because Higgins carried a little bit of the team here with 6 catches, 92 and 2 tutties. But Jamar Chase is going to be perfectly fine. We get a pretty solid matchup here. We get must-win games here on out, although I think they are technically eliminated now, but they still want to play spoiler. A lot of the games that they're playing are they get Baltimore and Cleveland still, so they still have in-division games that they want to win. But I'm sticking with Joe Burrow. As long as he's not shut down, you're running him out there. And obviously it's the big four here as always: Burrow, Chase Brown, Higgins if he's able to make it through concussion protocol. I don't think so. So plan for a backup. Jamar Chase. I'm not looking to pivot to Yoshivas unless I'm in pure desperation mode here this week. And then honestly, Gesicki, I went to him a couple weeks ago when T. Higgins missed, and it was a big dutter. But he's still got the game. So if you need a dart throw tight end, I don't have a problem going to Gesicki in week 15 here. 6 for 6 and 86 and a tutty. But outside of that, I'm not looking for Yoshivas next week with or without T. Higgins. And I'm not looking for Samaje Perine. I'm still sticking with Chase Brown. The yardage wasn't there. The efficiency dipped way back down. But he still got it done with 2 touchdowns. So I'm sticking with Brown. The team's sticking with Brown. We roll. In a surprising shootout game, we had the Tennessee Titans put up 31 on the Cleveland Browns, who scored 29 and made a late push here. The real story really is, though, Shedeur Sanders on the Cleveland side, 364 and 3 in the air, and then another 3 carries for 29 yards and a tutty. There was talks that he does not run. He will not run. 3 for 29 and a tutty. That seems like some tactical scrambling to me, which I love to see. But are we starting Shedeur Sanders in week 1 of the playoffs against the Chicago Bears? I don't really got a good answer for it. I probably am not. Like, it's not like there's enough here. It was against the Tennessee Titans. But on the same side, like maybe Judkins 17 opportunities, so a little bit less than what we used to see. We would like to see here, because I mean Sanders threw the ball 42 times. So if they're going to go ahead and air it out, I'm starting Harold Fannin no matter what this week, with or without Njoku. But that's kind of where it ends for me. Jerry Jeudy is going to go ahead and be a desperation type guy. He had the 5 targets. He had the 76 yards and a tutty. He's with Shedeur. He's had the with Shedeur, he's looked a little bit more consistent, but just not enough for me to plug into my fantasy football playoffs here. So really, I'm rolling with Judkins still. You gotta, out of pure volume sake, and then I'm rolling with Harold Fannin. And if you want to get really spicy, if you have to, with no bye weeks, I would expect not having to, but you could go ahead and throw Shedeur Sanders out there. It's not a guarantee, it's not a lock, but I mean, 33-point potential, 4 touchdowns in a game. That's a ceiling. That's a ceiling that we have seen, and that's all it takes for me to trust a guy, to not trust a guy, but to want to see, to try to push for a ceiling. I just need to see it one time, and I know it's there. So will I be sticking with Shedeur Sanders? Probably not. But I would not blame you if you are in desperation mode here. MV Prof, I see you got a question to me. Purdy versus Tennessee, Knicks versus Green Bay, or Shedeur versus the Chicago Bears. It's in Chicago, so that has me a little bit we got Purdy versus Tennessee. I kind of like that, but also like, do they really need Purdy to do it? And then Knicks at home versus Green Bay. This is another toughie. This is a very toughie. I'm going to go ahead and have to come back to you on Thursday with a final answer. But for right now, if this is for like, if you're going to go out and grab one of these guys off the waiver wire, I'm still sticking with Bo. I think you get that midpoint of like your 16 points no matter what from Bo. Whereas with Shedeur, we could see the non-existent floor. We could see like a 10-point game. And with Purdy, we've also seen just absolute fall apart games. So I think I stick with Bo in that situation still. Check back with me on Thursday once I like sort out all of my rankings and everything I'll let you know if I'm sticking with that there. On the Tennessee side, we saw Tony Pollard take back over 25 carries compared to the 12 opportunities for Tyjae Spears, 161 yards for Pollard and 2 touchdowns. Not enough for me to trust him going into San Francisco. But if you've held on and you need a running back play, it's not the worst. We once again, we see there's a ceiling. We see a ceiling that we have not seen all season, even when it was just Tony Pollard. But the schedule does not really make me want to trust him for my fantasy playoffs. So if he's out there on your waiver wire, which very much possible with 61% rostered on Sleeper, go ahead and scoop him as a blocker. Go ahead and, like, even if you're not planning on playing him, just scoop him so whoever you're playing against can't scoop and get a 28-point game out of him. Again, I don't expect it this week, but crazier things have happened. And outside of that, don't trust Tennessee. I don't even trust Tony Pollard. We're going to go ahead and move on. We got the Indianapolis Colts and the Jacksonville Jaguars. This game was kind of a wash because of the Daniel Jones injury. We didn't really see anything prescriptive here. In the Jonathan Taylor, 21 carries, 74 yards, a touchdown, and a fumble. So again, fully expect 25 to 30 opportunities for Jonathan Taylor consistently here. Michael Pittman did see the 12 targets with Riley Leonard in there, and that's just kind of the backup quarterback corollary there with locking in on the big X receiver out there. That's Michael Pittman. Alec Pierce still saw eight targets for 80 yards, but again, with if it is Riley Leonard or if it is 44-year-old Phillip Rivers, having a hard time trust any of these guys. You can go ahead and maybe go with Tyler Warren if you think that he's going to get enough rushing and quarterback snaps to make it worth it. I'm a little bit dicey on it. Like it's a very high risk play right now. On the flip side, we saw Travis Etienne just run all over this team. 74 yards, 2 tutties. Bashal Tutin lost a fumble and did not see the field too much thereafter. It's Etienne's backfield. It's been for the entire season, and there is not anything changing that here. Etienne back up to 75%, and we saw Tutin after that fumble only 3% snaps. LaQuint Allen came in and had a 27% snap share, so we could see a different backup here with Tutin and his fumbling issues carrying on into the season, but we'll see. Jacoby Myers continues to be the primary receiver here. We said it. We said it here last week. It's Jacoby Myers is that dude. 10 targets, only four catches for 39 yards, but he did catch the touchdown, so he didn't kill you. But you're rolling with Jacoby Myers the whole way through. Jets, great matchup. Denver, tough matchup, but then we're right back to Indy here in the fantasy football championship. So you stick there, and then Brian Thomas. We talked about the ceiling on Thursday. It's there. He's going back more of that big, heavy hitter, home run swing type of guy, dealing with everything that he's dealt with this season. He's not the consistent X primary target, primary read. That is Jacoby, but we see here 87 yards out of Thomas on 3 catches. It's risky, but you can still get points out of him. And then Tim Patrick, 70 yards and a touchdown. Don't care going into next week. Parker Washington was not starting this week, so Tim Patrick kind of stepped into that role and delivered this week, but once again, not turning to that next week. Do not care. Do not start Tim Patrick. You're starting your ETN. You're starting your Brenton Strange. You're starting your Jacoby Myers, and then if you got to, you start your Brian Thomas, but don't bank on it. Don't bank on it. Moving along to an absolute blowout shutout here. Minnesota goes in and stomps on Washington. We saw a little bit of Mariota, a little bit of Jaden. Jaden got thrown on his ass after throwing an interception, and he landed right on that arm, that elbow. So I don't know if we see Daniels back out there. There's no long-term concerns with the elbow right now, but if that's the risk of putting him out there as he throws a pick and gets just absolutely blasted by a linebacker or a D lineman throwing a block, I would shut that down. I don't want to risk that. And that the flip in quarterbacks definitely had a disruption to the flow of the passing game. We saw 6 targets for both McLaurin and Debo, but only a combined 68 yards out of the 2 of them. I'm going to go ahead and go back to the well next week against the Giants. I'm hoping to see consistency out of one of these quarterbacks. I hope that if Jaden is in, it stays Jaden. He doesn't have to leave for injury. And I hope that if Mariota is in, he locks in on Terry once again, because we saw it with Terry with the 14 targets and 96 and a tutty last week against Denver. So I want that. I'm going to go back to Terry. I got Terry on a couple of teams. I'm going back to him this week. And again, just hoping for the consistency. It's a good matchup, so I'm hoping for a little bit better here. On the flip side, Mr. 9, JJ McCarthy, 163 and 3 tutties. So not the best passing game, but 3 tutties is 3 tutties. Yeah, Prof. If the question is if I'm starting Jaden Daniels, I have such a very hard time because of that exactly. Because he throws the pick, he gets sacked, he takes one bad hit, and he's out. That's why I would rather just stick with the Terry McLaurin and a Debo Samuel. If I got to running backs, no shot. 3-headed monster, gross. But going back to the Minnesota side, McCarthy, 3 tutties. 2 of them to Josh Oliver, though. So like that doesn't, like, you're gonna throw the tutties, throw them to like throw him to Jettas, throw him to Addison. Help us out here a little bit, McCarthy. But he at least looked better himself. And I mean, I did call for him. Alex bullied me into it on Thursday as the espresso shot, and I did it. And it paid off. Still was risky. Still did not feel confident about the whole way through. Friends, I am playing Scary Terry this week. Matchup is too good. Justin Jefferson, I feel like I have to. Once again, matchup is too good. It's at Dallas. I'm going back to it. I'm going back to Justin Jefferson. I'm going back to Scary Terry. I'm playing both of them. I'm taking the risk because they are such talented wide receivers that if they just get the ball in their hands in these matchups, they can do anything with it. So I am going to go back to the well on both of those guys. It is a risk. I understand that, but I'm doing it. We saw Aaron Jones did end up playing. Aaron Jones did end up out carrying Jordan Mason, but Jordan Mason got the touchdown here. So 47% of snaps for Jones, 32% for Jordan Mason. So as long as these guys are both healthy, it's going to be tough to rely on either one of them. If you have to, as an RB3, Aaron Jones will be the way that I go. Very much back end RB2, high end RB3 play for me. The touchdown just happened to fall to Mason this week, but I'm not touching Mason even in the juicy matchup because you pray that he falls in to the end zone, and that's it. I am going back to Justin Jefferson. I am going back to Jordan Addison, and that's it on the Minnesota side. I got my two studs, and then I will play Aaron Jones if I don't have two solid RB options out there. Another blowout that we talked a little bit about was Miami at the Jets. Again, not too much prescriptive here. We did see backups all over the place in this game. And we already talked about Devon Achane, where you keep an eye on his status. You stash Jalen Wright tonight for your waiver wire run, and you kind of just keep an eye there. But Miami formula doesn't change. Achane if he plays, Jalen Wright if he doesn't, and then Jalen Waddle, and you're out. Darren Waller got outplayed by Greg Dulcich this week. So I think Waller went from someone that you could have started. I was saying you could start him last week, and I think that we have reached a point of maybe you cannot. Dulcich has come in. He's gotten familiarized with the offense. Maybe it was because of the blowout that they were just letting Waller get some rests, but I'm not trusting 39% snap share to a 56% snap share going into the fantasy playoffs. So I'm looking to pivot from Waller this week. I'm not scooping Dulcich, but I'm looking to just maybe keep Waller on the bench, but find a more reliable floor play at the tight end position this week. But outside of that, like I said, Miami firmly does not change. On the Jets side, keep an eye on the quarterback situation. There's nothing to really take out of this that we haven't already talked about, other than keep an eye on the quarterback situation to know if you can play Breece Hall or not. Because you're not playing Mechie, you're not playing A.D. Mitchell with Justin Fields out there, unless Tyrod Taylor can make it back out there. You're not really playing either one of those guys with a Brady Cook or a Justin Fields with how we have seen them play. Flipping on over to the New Orleans Saints, shocking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers when they did not need a loss. They took a loss. And Shuck looked in the air, whatever, 20 pass attempts, 144 and an interception, but carried the ball 7 times for 55 yards and 2 tutties. I mean, that's real nice for fantasy football right there. And they get Carolina, the Jets, and Tennessee. So Shuck is kind of a sneaky, maybe like you toss him in there if you're screwed at quarterback. If you had Daniel Jones and you got no better options, Shuck, you can do a lot worse than Shuck. Like Shuck and Shador are going to be interesting playoff rookie streamer quarterbacks, but in your 1 QB leagues, I feel like you don't need to go that deep. In your 2 QB leagues, plug those guys in. Hell yeah. Before we actually get to the rest of this game, I see some questions coming back in. Pick 2 wide receivers, Sutton, Watson, or Michael Wilson, and do I flex one of them over Harvey? Hard with the Green Bay Denver matchup. It is difficult there. You stick with Watson for sure. Watson's been on fire. I know that it's Denver, but I mean, how do you turn away from the dude who's just been doing it consistently? And then with Michael Wilson, we get the Houston Texans. That's another tough matchup, but keep an eye on the practice reports for Marvin Harrison Jr. Honestly, I think I stick with Michael Wilson and I stick with Watson. I'd be hard pressed to flex Sutton over Harvey. I think that you can go ahead and stick with Harvey there and hope for the home run. Sutton's just been so up and down. all the way through. He's been getting the targets, but it's just like it's been mid. Whereas Harvey, he's getting everything and he's got the home run hitter. So I would stick with Harvey in the flex, and I would go Watson and Wilson at the wide receiver spot there. Paul Vogt, no worries on being late. Welcome in, welcome back. Good to see you here. Thoughts on Tyler Warren this and next year with the backup quarterback? Um, I think that they're going to go ahead and figure out the quarterback for next year. So for Dynasty, you ride it out. It doesn't matter. Like they're gonna have something. The window is there. They're taking the window. Tyler Warren this week, I say that he is a very, very risky play, and you're hoping for those quarterback snaps where he gets some utility out of the running game, but very risky for me. I'm not trusting him for the playoffs unless we see something crazy this week with either Phillip Rivers or Riley Leonard or someone else off the street. So not trusting him right now, but holding in Dynasty for sure. Not selling low, not trying to get out, just sticking with them here. But going back to the New Orleans Tampa Bay game, Devin Neal once again stepping up huge here with no Alvin Kamara. 19 carries, one catch on one target for 70 yards and a touchdown. Touchdown came early and he kind of slowed down after that, but he is the only running back here getting work with Alvin Kamara out. And he's got a good stretch for the fantasy playoffs. If Alvin Kamara gets shut down, Devin Neal is going to be not league winner because I don't think he's got the upside for that, but he's going to be, if for the injured hurting teams, he is a wonderful stopgap type of running back here with this volume with Carolina, the Jets, and Tennessee to close out the year. If you got him, hold him and just wait and see with Alvin Kamara because I think that this is going to be his backfield right now. Olave and Vele, both 5 targets apiece there. Juwan Johnson, 4 targets. Again, not too much in the air from Shuck this week, so a little bit of a letdown. Maybe we see more with the better matchups coming up here, but really it's going to be tough to trust these guys. I'm sticking with Olave, who I trust full-heartedly, and Devin Neal with no Kamara is where I'm going. And that's really it. Juwan Johnson's been very mid the past 3 weeks post-bye, so not really trusting any of those guys. On the flip side, Baker and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers continue to struggle outside of Bucky Irving, who has come back and has just picked up right where he left off. 2 touchdowns in 2 games, even with only about 50% of the snaps in both of those. But even with only 50% of the snaps, he's getting the bulk of the carries here. 18 opportunities compared to 7 for Tucker and 13 for Rachaad White. We did see Rachaad White get mixed in quite a bit, so it is kind of becoming a 3-man backfield, but the important stuff is going to Bucky, and I'm sticking with that 100%. They get the Thursday game, so it is quick turn. So keep an eye on Bucky just in case, because I did see he's still got the injury concerns, but you're rolling with him. Igbuka, 9 targets, 2 catches with an egregious drop. And then Chris Godwin. It's really tough to trust any of these pass catchers right now with just everything going on in Tampa. I mean, we got 3 games in a row of just abysmal passing, 4 games in a row under 200 passing yards. So it's really tough to trust Tampa Bay right now. They are in full-blown desperation mode, and they are going up against a banged-up Atlanta defense. Could be the get right. They got a good schedule to finish out here, but I got a feeling they're leaning on Bucky here. If you're still in the playoffs, you can go ahead and stick with Igbuka, but it has not been paying off as of late. Again, same 4 games that Baker struggled with, Igbuka has struggled as well and contributed to that. So really, I'm trusting Bucky, and I'm hard pressed to trust Igbuka, Godwin, and we might even see Mike Evans come back out there, which would make trusting any of these 3 guys even tougher. So we'll wait and see for Thursday, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to trust, but you might have to just turn back to Igbuka once again. Targets is targets, man. Flipping over to the AFC West showdown, we had Denver taking a 1 touchdown win over Vegas. Nothing really exciting here except for RJ Harvey with 23 opportunities, 100 yards and a touchdown there for him. Really the only guy that I am super excited about. Again, I've been saying to stick with Bo Nix just because dude's been all right, like as of late. It is a tough matchup, but it is at home against Green Bay, and then it's Jacksonville, and then at KC. So a little bit of tough stretch at the end here, but I have no problem sticking with Bo Nix. He's going to be right around my QB, probably 11 or 12. Haven't done the rankings. We'll talk about it on Thursday once I get that sorted out, but I'm sticking with Bo Nix because I think he's going to be in that 10 to 13 range. Paul, do I think that they bring Dobbins back next year? I don't even know what the contract really is, to be honest with you. So I would have to take a peek into the contract, but I got a feeling that Dobbins is going to be on the same path that he was from last year, where started off strong, faded on, got injured, and then we see him kind of bounce on to the next team. Sucks for him, but I mean, the team did invest highly in RJ Harvey with a second round pick, and he is starting to perform. So I think they might go with a little bit of a cheaper secondary option instead of having the pure 1-2 punch, but you never know. He seemed to fit the scheme pretty well, and he was doing pretty well out there. In terms of the passing game for Denver, Sutton got 10 targets, but again, they have just been kind of empty calorie targets here, very Chris Olave-esque early on. And we've seen the full flip now in this passing game with Troy Franklin. This is 2 weeks in a row now where Franklin is on the outs of the snap share, all the way down to 25%. We saw it dip down to 50%. And it dipped even lower this week to 25%. And Pat Bryant has taken over as the number 2 wide receiver consistently here. I think that's exactly what we're going to see the rest of the way out. But am I starting either Pat Bryant? No, not unless it's a very deep league. If I have to start a pass catcher, it's Cortland Sutton just for targets and hopes. But really, RJ Harvey is the only one that I'm confidently starting here. Paul, yes. Should we be stashing Sinnott? I did say at the top, I will not be starting Sinnott, but if I have a tight end needy team, I am 100% stashing him and see what happens in terms of routes, snaps, targets, all of that, because I'm sure you seem like you're deep in them dynasty streets. He has been kind of long awaited, and it's nice to see him get an opportunity here. Unfortunate how it's coming, but hopefully he's able to take advantage of an opportunity here. As a dynasty darling that we've waited on for about 2 years now, 3 years. Vegas abysmal. If it's not Brock Bowers, even Ashton Genty is tough to trust. I mean, 14 opportunities is just not enough to trust, especially coming up against Philly, Houston, and the Giants. It's tough, but also, do you have better options? I'm not sure. Genty's still going to be at least an RB2 in the rankings, no matter what. But outside of that, it's Bowers for sure, and then Genty, and that's it. We don't know what's going to happen with Geno Smith, who left the game with an injury, and we saw Kenny Pickett. So that could mean more opportunities for Genty here going up against Philly, but I don't trust it at all. Rams beat up on the Arizona Cardinals. Stafford, just beautiful. 22 out of 31 for 281 and 3. MVP campaign back on. The real story, Blake Corum. I did say my start of the week at running back that the game could very easily get out of hand, and they want to save Kyren Williams some touches, even though Kyren Williams still outtouched Blake Corum. Blake Corum, 128 yards, 2 tutties on the ground on 12 carries, and even a target out there. So Blake Corum is kind of pushing for a 50-50 split down the stretch here. In terms of opportunities. In terms of snaps, it's still Kyren. Kyren 55% snaps, 33 to Corum, but the opportunities are being split more evenly, very much. Like very, very easily to see that. Do I expect 26 points and an RB1 finish from Blake, or RB2 finish from Blake Corum on a weekly basis? No, I do not. But I do think that he is a high upside flex play for the fantasy playoffs if you need to plug someone in. And obviously, if anything does happen to Kyren had no issues, made it through practice with that with his injury designation, and leaves the game with no injury designation. So I'm not saying there's anything to even be worried about, but I think Blake Corum is still a deep, high upside flex play for weeks 15, 16, and 17 here. Outside of that, Puka, Devontae, that's it. Stafford, Kyren, Puka, Devontae, Corum if you gotta. That's about it. On the Arizona side, Jacoby still performed 271 and 2, and then another 22 yards on the ground. So still a good game out of Jacoby Brissett. It was not the dud that could have been. And then obviously Michael Wilson, 16 targets, 142 and 2 touchdowns. Like with no Marvin Harrison, Michael Wilson is just the best wide receiver in the entire game. So keep an eye on Marvin Harrison's health, because Michael Wilson can just do ridiculous things without him on the field here. I'm starting Michael Wilson regardless next week. And then Trey McBride, a little bit of a down game from him, but still 9 targets. You're going back to that while you're not turning away there. We had a big NFC North game with Chicago losing last second to Green Bay. And this game, uh, we had no Roma Dunze. That was a little bit of a surprise, inactive after the Thursday show. So that was a little bit of a shocker. And in his absence, Luther Burden led the team in targets with 6 targets for 67 yards. Really stepped up, really been doing a good job here. But this passing game is just impossible to trust, even like without Odunze. Like Caleb's been very inefficient as of late. 186 and 2 in the air. So didn't kill you, but just not really helping you out here. And then the run game did get stuffed up quite a bit by Green Bay from Chicago. They still went over 100 yards, but just no touchdowns to back it up here. The 2 touchdowns, one came from Zacchaeus and one came to Colston Loveland. Colston Loveland isn't a bad touchdown dependent hope and a prayer for Chicago at the tight end position. They get Cleveland and then Green Bay again and then San Francisco. So not the scariest of matchups if you need a tight end. You're hoping for a tight end or for a touchdown or not. Outside of that, I don't know if you're starting any of these wide receivers. Wait and hear about Roma Dunze for the week, but going up against Cleveland, maybe you start a Burden, but you're not trusting DJ Moore. He's borderline droppable at this point. Not borderline, but should be droppable. And then you're sticking with the running backs, obviously, but the fact that they are a 50-50 split does make both of them hard to trust because, I mean, we see here about 18 fantasy points between the running backs, but it's perfectly split. So without touchdowns to kind of boost them up, it's tough to trust. Jordan Love, I talk trash, but here he comes again, 234 and 3 touchdowns in the air. He's looking like he's coming into form here, and that is on the back of Christian Watson. 4 catches, 89 yards, and 2 tutties here. You're sticking with Christian Watson. I was concerned about his snaps, routes, and everything with Jayden Reed coming back, but it seems like it doesn't really matter because still 86% snaps leading the team of all the wide receivers. It's him and Dobbs out there consistently. And then we saw Jayden Reed come back and just be mixed in that Josh Downs type role where he was 50%, but he was getting opportunities when on the field with 4 targets himself. Sticking with Watson, and that's really the only pass catcher that I like. If you need a high upside home run swing, Jayden Reed would be an okay play, especially against Denver, where they might need to get a little bit creative in the passing game. But other than that, Josh Jacobs, Christian Watson, locked and loaded for week 15 here. And then again, if you need to get a little bit spicy, Jayden Reed is an interesting home run dart throw there. 2 more games to get through. We had the Sunday night game. We had Houston come in and just continue the streak of wins and top the Kansas City Chiefs, putting them one step closer to being knocked out of the playoffs. And it was on the back of Woody Marks, 26 carries, 3 targets, and about 76 yards and a touchdown for Woody Marks. I was hesitant. He was lower in my ranks this week just because of the tough matchup, but it did not matter. And it does not matter right now because he is going into Arizona. Has Arizona coming to him. Arizona at home, Vegas at home after that, and then the Chargers after that. Woody Marks is set up to be a league-winning running back here with that schedule, with these opportunities. I'm fully bought in. He's locked into my roster the whole way through. And then we're looking here also at the passing game. We keep talking about Jaden Higgins, but I'm not trusting Jaden Higgins in the playoffs right now. It's Nico, and that's it. Even Dalton Schultz brought back down to earth here in a tough matchup. 4 targets, 3 catches, 22 yards. It's Marks and it's Nico, and that's all that I want from Houston and the Houston defense. Houston defense up against Kansas City, 3 interceptions, 2 sacks. Like that's defensive points right there. I called it 2 weeks ago. Pick them up and run with them because they're not just their playoff stretch, but they're even doing it against good teams here. On the Kansas City side, 3 interceptions, as I said, for Mahomes. So very ugly game for him, but they're in full desperation mode right now. They have a must win against the Chargers in week 15. And then they get Tennessee week 16 and another must win in division against Denver here. So it's going to be do or die here for Kansas City. And I think that means that we're going to see Patty Mahomes put the team on his back. But I'm still just sticking with Patrick, Rasheed, and I'll even stick with Travis Kelce. 1 for 8 kills you, but 5 targets. And again, do or die time here for Kansas City. So I'm sticking with the studs. And then Kareem Hunt, a flexible RB3 in that same category as a lot of the guys we've been talking about today. I'll let you guys know where he shakes out in my rankings, but he's still leading the team 60% of the snaps compared to Pacheco at 33%. That's just what it's going to be. They got to stick with the guys they trust right now. And then we already talked about the Monday Night Football game. So actually, that is it, guys. That is all that I got for the Tuesday show. Appreciate you as always for stopping by and talking some football with me. Go hit your waivers again. Jalen Wright, stash him. Ben Sinnott, stash him. Who else did I say to stash? Blake Corum, if you didn't pick him up last week, stash him to even potentially play here. Devin Neal, if he's out there, shouldn't be 64%, but if Devin Neal's out there, stash him, scoop him and start him. And let's wait to see some of these injuries shake out, and let's get ready for the Thursday night start sit show. It's going to be a big one. It's probably the biggest one of the entire season, and I'm ready for it, baby. I'm ready. Thank you guys as always for stopping by. Be sure to give this video a like, so that I can keep go ahead and doing this next season. And make sure you're subscribed to the Player Profiler Now Plus channel, and go ahead and follow me over at JOwens_FF to keep up with my rankings as they drop and the random thoughts that come out of my head regarding fantasy football. Sometimes not regarding fantasy football. Sometimes Detroit Lions. Sometimes a little bit of everything. Sometimes some video games. But go ahead and shoot me that follow over there. Drop a like on this video and get your questions ready for Thursday, because we are going in, boys. Let's go. Catch you guys on Thursday.
From the Podfather to you, I deeply appreciate you tuning in. And many ask, what can I do? What can I do to help support the hosts, the research they do, the production costs? Go to playerprofiler.com, Dynasty Deluxe, World Famous Draft Kit, Rankings, DFS Dominator, and of course, data analysis. Subscribe to any one of those, and you support all of us and take Player Profiler to the moon.